Good afternoon, everybody. I'm State Attorney Amira Fox. Today I'm here with my great partners in law enforcement to announce the results of an active Narcotics Enforcement Task Force known as NETFORCE, joint undercover operation targeting drug traffickers and their associates called Operation All in the Family. In recent weeks, and even into the early morning hours today, NETFORCE members have been executing search warrants and arresting drug traffickers and those who do business with them, stopping them from selling poison on the streets of Southwest Florida. This NETFORCE operation has resulted in the arrest of 24 drug traffickers and their associates, netted 4.5 kilos of cocaine, 160 grams of fentanyl, 461 grams of methamphetamine, 75.5 pounds of marijuana, $251,000 in cash, 20 firearms, and 2 vehicles. Standing here today with me are our NETFORCE partners who have all collaborated in this massive drug bust operation. Homeland Security's Investigations Special Agent John Yancey, Collier County Sheriff Kevin Rambosk, Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino, Acting Fort Myers Police Chief Randy Pepitone, Cape Coral Police Chief Tony Sizemore, Lee County Port Authority Police Deputy Chief Bob Taylor, the U.S. Marshals, FDLE Special Agent Tracy Maurer, and from the Marco Island Police Department, Rich Stoltenberg. Operation All in the Family originally began in Collier County and was focused on identifying and eradicating drug trafficking families and the people who help them sell drugs in our communities. The investigation led law enforcement into Lee County, into Fort Myers, Lehigh Acres, and Cape Coral. During the investigation, law enforcement identified multiple individuals who are responsible in this community for the distribution of trafficking large amounts of cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. Narcotics sources of supply were identified as far away as Texas. This operation has been successful in disrupting and dismantling a narcotics crime family who has been making a living from poisoning our community. Now, Special Agent John Yancey from Homeland Security Investigations will tell you about his agency's involvement in this operation. Special Agent Yancey.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you, State Attorney Fox. I'm honored to be here representing Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI. And we're so proud to be a part of this great partnership here with NETFORCE. HSI is the investigative arm of the Department of Homeland Security. We cover a very wide range of legal authorities, from fighting terrorism, human trafficking, child exploitation, cyber crimes, and money laundering. But one of our highest priorities is ensuring public safety in our communities and addressing the threats posed by illegal narcotics trafficking, specifically fentanyl, just like the drugs that you see seized in this case. One of the most effective ways that we're able to do this is by being part of a successful team with our state, local, and federal partners, just like the team that you see here today. We are proud to have been a part of this great case and to have used the resources of our agency to help make Southwest Florida a safer place. I can't compliment enough the outstanding work that has been done by all of the agencies that are represented here. And again, I'd like to say thank you to State Attorney Fox for bringing this together. Her leadership and hard work with the support of her office made this possible. And HSI is grateful for the opportunity to have contributed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Collier County Sheriff Kevin Rambosk will explain some details of his agency's major involvement in this operation. Sheriff Rambosk.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. First, I'd like to recognize our great state attorney for creating NETFORCE and putting it together in 2019. You know, this really enables us as an area, geographic area in Southwest Florida, to identify, investigate, and dismantle criminal enterprises. And we all know that crime and drugs does not have jurisdictions that they stay within. So that's exactly why this relationship that we are a part of is so important to us. And I want to recognize our Collier County detectives in our VIN unit, because they actually originated the investigation that led us to working together with NETFORCE and all of our great participants there. Without a doubt, we have disrupted the flow of drugs not only into Collier County, but into Southwest Florida. And we remain committed to a part of NETFORCE. We remain committed to the residents of Collier County, and we remain committed to each one of the law enforcement agencies and members that are here with us today, because working together, we can make a greater and safer Southwest Florida. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sheriff Rambosk. And now we're going to hear from Chief Randy Pepitone from the Fort Myers Police Department.
Thank you. I would like to start out by thanking State Attorney Amira Fox for leading NETFORCE. These type of investigations are only possible through the cooperation of multiple law enforcement agencies. Her creation of NETFORCE has given us the ability to bring federal, state, local, and local law enforcement resources together with outstanding results. I would also like to take the time to thank the men and women that were part of conducting this investigation. Your dedication and hard work have made Southwest Florida a little safer today by removing illegal guns, drugs, and some very bad people from our streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Pepitone. And I'd like to welcome up to the podium now Chief Tony Sizemore from the Cape Coral Police Department.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'll echo the words and sentiments of my colleagues. It's a wonderful operation to be a part of, to work collaboratively with our partners in Southwest Florida, but it's been eloquently stated before, so I won't reiterate that. What I'd like to do is speak directly to the men and women who worked on the case, Cape Coral detectives, and all of our partners that worked tirelessly on this. I don't think it gets recognized the amount of sacrifice that they work. This is a multi-month investigation with unconventional hours at the drop of a hat, having to go, miss so many family obligations, and it doesn't go unrecognized. And I can tell you that your work has made an absolute impact and positive difference in the community. Whether you're affected or impacted by drug abuse yourself, or caring for, or concerned or devastated by a family member experiencing it, or even if you just live in our community where these violent criminal gangs will execute a turf war to continue their operations, you are impacted. So whether the public directly knows it themselves or they don't know it, you have made this community a better, safer place, and we all thank you for the efforts that you have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Sizemore. And now I'd like to bring up to the podium our Lee County Sheriff, Carmine Marcino.
Good afternoon. First, I want to thank, like everyone else, the men and women that have dedicated their lives to taking the worst of the worst off the streets. When you take guns and drugs off the streets, you save lives. You lower the crime rate. You increase the way people live, the quality of life. I want to thank all our local, state, and federal partners here. It doesn't matter what color patch or uniform you wear. It is one family and one team, and we have the greatest team here, and I'm confident when I say that. I want to thank our great state attorney, Amira Fox, and her team. You do such an amazing job, Amira, and we're so blessed to have you. In 2019, Amira came in and we sat and spoke. I had a I vowed I would take drugs and guns off the street, but Lee County plays a very small part in the piece of the puzzle here. Our great state attorney came up with an idea, and she said, I want to start NETFORCE, and she created NETFORCE, which is what you see here. It's a regional effort. Sheriff Rambos said it. Criminals don't have jurisdictional boundaries. They don't know that when you cross Bonita Beach Road, you leave Collier County into Lee County. All they know is they want to commit crimes, and they do it wherever they please. And sometimes they communicate even better than law enforcement. So when we get together like this in NETFORCE, and the dedicated man hours that you see from detectives that leave their family members, husbands, wives, kids, I say it all the time, risk their lives because they are dealing with the worst of the worst people. These are the dregs of society that when you take them off the streets, you save lives, and these people have made a life of committing crime. Nevertheless, the amount of drugs and narcotics that's taken off the streets, stolen guns, clearing cases, when you take drugs off the streets, you save lives. The other side of that is, unfortunately, the dregs of society that they sell these narcotics to people that are addicted. So the people that are addicted, we need to help. The people that are selling and dealing, we need to incarcerate. So today is a huge win, and I'm very, very thankful to play a small piece in the puzzle. But what an honor. The citizens of Southwest Florida, this is a huge win for you today because of our great state attorney who is relentless in her pursuit against taking violent criminals off the street and drugs off the streets. So from our hearts, we thank you so much. I thank all our partners here. Drug dealers know better. They should stay out of Southwest Florida. We have amazing residents that deserve to live with law and order, and all of us together will make certain that the residents live in a safe, secure law and order environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sheriff Marcino. And as you've heard from all these great partners, this is truly a group effort. Federal, local, and state coming together. And as has been said several times, you can't get away from us just because you cross jurisdictional lines. We will get you, and we will stop your drug trading. Now, members of the HIDA, the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, which is a federal group, were unable to be present with us today, but they were a very large part of this operation. And they asked me to read to you the South Florida High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, which is called HIDA, was established in 1990. The program is made up of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies and fosters intra-agency cooperation among law enforcement agencies in South Florida by involving them in developing a strategy to target the region's drug-related and violent crime threats to public safety, as with the opioid epidemic, fentanyl, and the cocaine threat to our nation. The South Florida HIDA uses funding provided by the Office of National Drug Council Policy out of the Executive Office of the United States that sponsors a variety of law enforcement initiatives that target a region's illicit drug and violent crime threats to the community. Thank you to them for their assistance with this. You know, as you've already heard, in 2019, after I became state attorney, I came up with the idea of forming NETFORCE. And in 2020, it all came together. And since that time, we have had 3 large-scale operations, all of them incredibly successful, thanks to these folks standing up here with me right now. The approach is to dismantle the organized crime, narcotics, racketeering, and money laundering criminal enterprises that form around illegal narcotics. This NETFORCE operation is the result of the cooperative efforts of all these law enforcement agencies. We all work together to fight this drug epidemic and keep Southwest Florida the safest place to live in Florida, which it is for the last 10 years. You know, it's working. I just pulled some stats this morning about what have the last 3 operations done together. And I just want to give you an example. During the last 3 operations, we have seized, the last 3 NETFORCE operations, 4,085,000 grams of fentanyl. That amount of fentanyl has the potential to kill 2,042,500 people. That's more, way more, than the entire population of Southwest Florida. So what we're doing is working. I want to thank all the men and women of law enforcement who did sacrifice endless hours to do this type of operation, and the men and women in my office, the state attorney's office, who did the same. And I thank you all very, very much for coming today.